Get down in your 4-point stance, everybody. It's time to talk defense on Ram Fantasy Update from the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort with our Sporting News Fantasy Source expert, Bill Bender. Bill, is there any such thing as a sure thing when it comes to fantasy defense?
Well, we've seen units like Houston and San Francisco go through their ups and downs, but if there was one sure thing, I think it's the Chicago Bears. And I'm not even a Bears fan, but I like what they're doing. They've forced 17 turnovers, and they have depth on the defensive line. They have 4 guys with 2.5 sacks or more, and when you have that, it's the closest thing to a sure thing you have. So I'll let you do the Chris Farley impersonations, but I'm a big fan of the Bears right now.
Okay. Well, is there any other defense out? I mean, you look at the line play, you have to think about the New York Giants. I think a lot of us felt better about the Philadelphia Eagles heading into the season than maybe we do right now.
Right. They just fired their defensive coordinator, so I would expect some improvement from the Eagles, some improvement from the Giants because they're not getting a lot of sacks right now. But again, like I said, the Bears are the only fantasy defense scoring touchdowns, getting sacks, getting turnovers, and holding teams to not many points.
All right, so if we can't pick up the Bears, where should we be looking for defense right now?
The NFC West is the place to look, Tom, and all 4 of those defenses have allowed less than 100 points this season. And I think the difference is when they play each other, you see the disparity in defense versus how bad some of those offenses are. We watched Kevin Kolb get sacked 9 times by the Rams. Saw field goals with the Seahawks and Rams too. And this week with the 49ers and Seahawks, I expect to see nothing but defense. I think that's the division where you have the safest teams.
So basically what you're saying is the offenses aren't necessarily that good. The defenses all are, and they play each other twice a year.
Absolutely, and all of those defenses stop the run. You see it with Seattle. I think that's been the key to their success as much as some of the comebacks by Russell Wilson. Their defense remains constant. I think it'll continue to be that way.
All right, now what about where not to look for defense, some temptation, some defenses that might be tempting that maybe fans should stay away from?
I think it's by reputation. Look at the AFC North. How many years have we trusted Baltimore and Pittsburgh as 2 of the elite defenses, but injuries are getting in the way there. Pittsburgh, you saw them get ripped up by Tennessee. They didn't have Lamar Woodley, didn't have Troy Polamalu. James Harrison's health has been in question. And now the Ravens lose Ray Lewis and Ladarius Webb. I think they're going to suffer a little bit over the next couple weeks and make an adjustment. And even further down in that division, Cincinnati has a lot of injuries. So it's funny to say it, but I think the defense that has looked the best in that division is Cleveland, of all the teams in that division.
Right, and they've had a couple key injuries there too, right?
Absolutely, but when they're healthy and Joe Hayden's back, they're not a bad fantasy defense in the right matchups. I'm not saying they're better than Baltimore and Pittsburgh, but they're improving.
Okay, there you go. Now, finally, we always talk about sleepers on this show because that's what we want, that advantage that no one else has. So defensively, what's your sleeper of the week?
I'm going to go with Buffalo at home against Tennessee, a team that, again, looked good against Pittsburgh, but they only averaged 10.3 points per game on the road. Buffalo's going to create a few turnovers in that game, show some pass rush, and I think there's some Bills fans still angry about the Music City Miracle against the Titans in 2000. So I think the fans are going to get into that game. Buffalo, it's risky. It was, but so was Tampa Bay last week. Take that risk with Buffalo. I think you'll go home happy.
All right, there you go. That's Bill Bender. I'm Tom Vandervoort, and that has been Ram Fantasy Update.